So for today's video, I'm going to be going over some signs or symptoms that maybe somebody that you love is going through an eating disorder or maybe on the brink of developing an eating disorder. I want everyone to know that full recovery is 100% possible, and it's not a disorder that you have to live with for the rest of your life. You can totally get over it, and it's something that with consistency and with the right mindset and being determined to get over something like this, because of course with anything, if you don't want to change, you won't. But if you do want to change your life and you do want to get better, then you can, and it is possible. So these are some things that would have to do with maybe if you're worried about a loved one and you see these things happening to them or them starting to behave in these ways. These could be some signs that potentially something is going wrong. Now, like I said, I'm not like a doctor or a therapist, but these are some things that may be helpful to keep in mind. It'd be better to prevent them rather than have them start and then you have to try to correct them. Social isolation. Now, a lot of this could just be because the person is trying to hide the fact that they're not eating. It could be because they're just focused on only food and weight, and so they maybe are losing happiness and fulfillment in other aspects of life. For me, I know that I really became a lot more introverted. I really isolated myself. I didn't want to hang out with anyone because I was worried that maybe they would want to go get food, or I didn't even want to like date for a while because I was like, well, of course a date is going to be like going out to eat. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to avoid the whole thing altogether. And that can definitely be a sign that somebody is developing some sort of eating issue. It may be helpful to check in with them or just to maybe just pay attention to it, right? Just have it in the back of your mind and notice like, well, oh, they're also not really interacting with people as much. They're kind of isolating themselves. They're saying no to social events with food. So it may just be something to consider. It's definitely something that I did a lot when, especially at the beginning, I started to change a lot with that. And I really did not want to do anything social. Like I remember with sports and stuff, sometimes they would have like pasta parties and they would like eat and stuff before. They would like basically like a little party get together before a practice or a meet at somebody's house, and they would have food. And I would always not want to go to those. Second thing that I would say is I started to kind of want to be really meticulous and controlled and careful with my food. And I wanted to prepare my food. I wanted to see everything that was going into my food. I wanted to be in control of my food as much as possible. And eating disorders are all about control and controlling your food, controlling your intake, controlling your weight, controlling your body. If you notice a family member, a friend, really having to control the food. Maybe you go to a restaurant, them freaking out because they don't know if the restaurant has this ingredient or if the restaurant has this option, like a salad or something like that, right? Maybe, and again, back to the first point about the restaurants, maybe just not wanting to go out to eat at all. Aside from isolating yourself socially and then also just wanting to be in control of everything that has to do with food and the eating and cooking process, especially if it's a change from something that the person typically did before, I would say that it's really important to notice if their exercise has changed. Eating disorders can be tricky because they can initially show themselves as just maybe a healthy lifestyle change, but they can become addictive. And that's where the problem is. Just like with many addictions, like with an alcohol addiction, a little bit of alcohol is fine every once in a while, right? Like people drink, go out, party, have a drink, glass of wine for dinner here and there, right? But it's the point of excess that's really the problem. A rapid increase in the amount of exercise, or if they're inflexible. Inflexibility is a big one. Inflexibility about exercise, inflexibility about eating choices. If their plan to exercise or eat a certain way or eat at a certain restaurant is suddenly disrupted and they have a big problem with that, that is definitely something I would look at, because I know from my own experience and can be very triggering. And again, back to that word of control, because it's not in your control. And so you get very riled up and frazzled by that. And everybody likes things to go their way. I know I do. But at the same time, it's about, how much, it's the level, right? It's the level of how much does that bother you? If suddenly you're not able to get a run in because it's raining or for whatever reason, right? When that person reacts so strongly, something to consider. And it's something that I noticed like at the beginning of my eating disorder. Whenever plans to exercise were disrupted or plans of eating were disrupted, I would just go into a tizzy. I remember one time we were supposed to eat at a certain restaurant, and that restaurant actually had healthy options, but I just refused to eat there because I didn't know the calories and everything like that. And again, I couldn't control my food and I couldn't control certain things. And so it really, really bothered me. I think with these things, if you can catch them earlier on, it could be easier to stop it. And recognizing, being aware is the first step. And say if you notice these things occurring in an individual that you love and care about, it's something to definitely take note of, especially if you see multiple things happening, a lot of changes in behavior. Another sign or early symptom of my own personal journey with an eating disorder is I would body check myself. A lot of times, the body checking and the repetitive, just making sure that you look skinny, or, even just comments that you may hear your family member or friends saying, like, I look this today or something like that. I look skinny today could be one, okay? Well, that shows you their mentality, which is they like to be skinny, or I guess not even, that doesn't necessarily say that they like to be skinny, but it says that they're noticing their level of thinness, or they're noticing this about their body. Just overall an obsession and a fixation, whether it be comments about their body, looking at their body, anything like that, can be a sign that maybe something's going on and an underlying issue is causing them to think so much about their body. Also, body checking, obviously in the mirror, walking past glass and looking at yourself constantly. If you see a family member or friend doing that a lot, along with other signs, like maybe their exercise has gotten really rigorous and they're very inflexible when it comes to food, those types of things, compile on each other and can definitely lead you down a slippery slope. Some of these things can, a lot of times with addiction, they can creep up on you. So I think it's important to kind of spread awareness of some of the common areas where you could start to see an individual slip into something like an eating disorder. Definitely important to remember that these are not just 100% that person is on the road to an eating disorder, but it is something to consider. And, on my channel, I would like to talk about these types of topics because I think that it could help somebody maybe notice something of concern in a family member or a friend, ways that I feel that I can help others through my own experience and my own journey. I really hope that this helped you and can provide some form of guidance or just knowledge. It's always good to educate yourself about different topics, no matter if you actually have an individual in your life possibly struggling with something or not. But thank you guys again very much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.